She thought she could outsmart an Ohio State trooper with a story about a dying car battery. She was wrong. Facing a speeding ticket, this driver decided she didn't need a lawyer to beat the system. Instead, she brought her own defense to the stand, a convoluted tale about a broken speedometer and a coincidental passing sheriff. Watch what happens when a seasoned judge puts her mechanical excuses right up against cold, hard radar data.
It is 26 TRD 03126. Is it Kierra or Kierra?
It's Kierra.
Kierra, okay. Well, Ms. Smith is present in the courtroom today. She does not have an attorney. Ms. Yeager is here on behalf of the state of Ohio. We're here for a trial to the court on this minor misdemeanor traffic citation alleging a speeding violation. Ms. Yeager, is the state ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Ms. Smith, are you ready to have your trial today? You don't have a lawyer with you. You have a right to a lawyer, but you'd have to hire one on your own. You're not eligible to ask for a free one. Was it your intention to waive that right and to represent yourself?
Yes.
Then I'll accept your waiver. And Ms. Yeager, you may call your first witness.
Thank you. The state will call Trooper DeVall.
Trooper, please come forward and be sworn. Go ahead and step up onto the witness platform, then turn and face me and raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Please be seated. Please state your full name and spell your last name
I'm Trooper Tristan DeVall, D-U-V-A-L-L,
and your complete business address.
3855 Alville Road, Granville, Ohio 43023.
Thank you, sir. You may inquire.
Thank you. Trooper DeVall, how long have you been with the Ohio State Highway Patrol?
Approximately a year now.
Okay. And were you working on April 25th of this year?
Yes.
And were you wearing a uniform of the day like you are in court?
Yes.
And were you driving a marked patrol car with a working visible light bar?
Yes.
And do you recall what shift or what hours were you working?
I was on night shift, which would be 10 p.m. to 6 a.m.
And did your duties include traffic enforcement?
Yes.
And are you current on all training, education, and certification requirements as required by the Ohio State Highway Patrol?
Yes.
Have you had training in the visual observation and estimation of vehicle speeds?
Yes.
Okay. Where and when did you get that training?
So it would have been last year sometime. I can't remember the quite month, but it was at the Ohio State Highway Patrol Training Academy. It was approximately a 1-week course mixed between classroom and actual physical on-the-job training with a certified instructor.
And regarding the training, did that also include training on speed measuring devices?
Yes.
Okay. And have you had the training on the radar device?
Yes.
And what kind of training have you had regarding the use of the radar device?
So again, it was within that 1-week period. They went over in the classroom basically the ins and outs of how the radar worked. And then when we went out, we did visual estimations, and then they actually showed us how each function on the radar had worked and how to do confidence checks and more on it.
Okay. And do you have refresher training on speed measuring devices?
At the current moment, no.
Okay. Oh, you said you've only been there about a year, so you haven't been required yet?
Right.
Okay. And then pursuant to your training, does the radar work using the Doppler principle?
Yes.
Okay. And what kind of speed measuring devices or what radar device did you have in your cruiser on April 25th?
It would be the MPH B3 radar.
And did you do a confidence check of your radar equipment that day to make sure it was working properly?
Yes.
Can you explain how do you do a confidence check on that?
So on the radar, first when it starts up, it does its own internal check. As long as everything's working okay with the internals, it'll say 32 pass. And then I'll place it, and you hit a second F, which is a function key, and then hit test, which puts it in test mode. Use 2 tuning forks that are serialized to the cruiser. Utilize both of them. First, I do it in moving mode, and then which you use both tuning forks, and it should be 50 and 30, or 50 and 20, and then the difference will come in the middle. As long as everything's working fine, and then I'll go into stationary mode, and then you do this fork single, do front, forward facing, and then rear facing as well.
Okay. Now you said you use tuning forks. What exactly do you do with them?
So you strike them on a non-metallic surface. Basically, they resonate at a certain tone, which mimics a certain speed, which the 50 would be 50 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour. You put it in front of the radar, or in front of the antenna, and then as long as everything is working okay with the antenna, it'll bring back and say that mile per hour, 50 mile per hour, or the 20 mile per hour.
You said you do that in moving and stationary modes?
Yes.
Okay. And after doing your confidence check, did you determine if your radar was working properly that day?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And did you have to take it out of service at all?
No.
And I'm going to direct your attention to about 1:18 in the morning. Where were you on patrol at about that time?
I was on State Route 16 at approximately milepost 17, and I was monitoring westbound traffic.
Okay. Westbound, so towards Columbus?
Right.
Okay. And is that part in the village of Granville or city of Granville, whichever one it is these days?
Yes.
Thank you. And that's Licking County, Ohio?
Yes.
Okay. So while you were there, did you make a traffic stop with someone later identified as Kierra Smith?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And do you see her in the courtroom today?
Yes, I did.
Could you please point out where she is seated and what colored shirt she is
She's
wearing?
seated right there with the approximately red colored shirt.
Thank you. Your Honor, let the record reflect the witness identified the defendant.
So reflect.
Thank you. And were you stationary at this time?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And what was the reason for your traffic stop?
The reason for my traffic stop, I visually estimated the only vehicle going westbound at a high rate of speed, checked its speed at, I believe it was 73 miles an hour, stayed consistent at 73 and locked it in at 73, which is shown later on body cam. And I conducted a traffic stop and activated my overhead lights, and then made contact with the driver.
Okay. So you said you checked her at 73. Was there tracking history?
Yes, there was. It was all 73, stayed consistent.
Okay. And what is the speed limit at that part of State Route 16?
55 miles an hour.
Okay. So when you're checking, I know you said it was the only vehicle on the road, but how does your radar indicate that that's the vehicle you're checking?
So it goes off of a few things. One, it can go off of the closest or the fastest, and then it could also go off, say, if there is a semi, because that is a big target, it will target that. With her vehicle being the only one there, I had it in opposite facing mode and stationary. It targeted her vehicle, shot back and gave me the speed, which was 73, and I consistently kept checking at 73.
Okay. And is there an audible tone or something that comes with the radar equipment?
There is, and the higher the tone, usually the higher the speed.
Okay. And what happens with the tone as the vehicle approaches and passes?
So as it approaches, it gets louder and I guess faster if you consider it that way, if you think of it in frequency, and as it passes, it'll dissipate and go away.
Okay. So after getting these radar speeds of 73, you initiated a traffic stop?
Yes.
And was the defendant the driver of that vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. You said you were westbound, so there's what, at least 6 signs indicating the speed limit
Approximately.
between there and milepost 17 from where it starts?
Right.
And did you explain to Ms. Smith why you stopped her?
I did.
Okay. And did you ultimately issue her a citation?
I did.
And what was that citation for?
It was for speed in a 55 mile an hour zone, doing 73 and 55.
Thank you. Nothing further for Trooper DeVall, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Smith, at this point, you have the right to ask the trooper questions, not tell him what you believe happened, because you'll have a chance to testify on your own behalf after they're finished. Do you have any questions for the trooper?
How do you know if your antenna is tuned right? Because I heard you say that you use the tuning forks,
Right.
and then if the antenna is okay, then it will all come back passing.
Right.
So how do you know if your antenna is also not functioning?
When I have it in that tuning mode and utilize those tuning forks, each one is a 50 mile an hour. Depending on the cruiser, most of the time it's a 50 and a 20. When I check it, I'll strike it and I'll put it in front of the antenna, and it should say, if it's the 50 mile an hour tuning fork, it should come back and say 50 mile an hour. If it's the 20, it should come back and say 20. If it does not, then I determine that it is not working, and then that's when I do further investigation on the piece of equipment to be like, why is it not coming back to what it should be saying?
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, sorry.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Trooper, you may step down. Thank you,
Sure.
sir. Any additional witnesses?
No, Your Honor. State rests.
So, Ms. Smith, you don't have to call any witnesses. You don't have to testify on your own behalf. You're presumed to be not guilty of the offense. The state has the burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. And if you decide not to call anybody or testify on your own behalf, I don't hold that against you. It doesn't reduce your presumption of innocence or lower their burden of proof. But you do have a due process right to present a defense by calling other witnesses, introducing exhibits or evidence into the record, or testifying on your own behalf. If you elect to do that, you'll be required to swear to tell the truth, and you'll have to answer any questions the prosecutor might have for you after you're finished giving your side of things. Other than yourself, do you have any witnesses?
No, I don't.
Do you wish to testify on your own behalf?
I do.
Then please come forward and be sworn.
Do you solemnly swear, do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Sorry.
You're
I was
fine.
reading your shirt. Have a seat. For the record, give your name and spell your last name,
Kierra Smith, S-M-I-T-H.
and your address.
All right, so you can go ahead and start telling me your side of things whenever you want.
Okay, so on the night I was driving from my best friend's house and with my girlfriend at the time. Now, before I had encountered the trooper, I had encountered a sheriff, right? Approximately, we'll say, 5 miles before him. Now, I was going above the speed limit, but I was not going 73. When I had seen the sheriff, I lowered my speeds, and then, of course, I did increase, but my speeds were only 61. I was going 61, and I seen him, and I started to slow down. When he pulled me over, he said 73. I said, there's no way. Unless my odometer is malfunctioning. It said 61 when he hit his lights.
Okay. Anything else you want to add?
No.
Any cross?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Smith, have you ever had your your speedometer calibrated?
My bad. I'm sorry.
Perfect.
When I just went and got my oil changed, probably around January. But honestly, my car has been malfunctioning in some ways, my battery. So the other day I was actually driving and everything went to 0 and I was still driving. So
Where'd you get your oil changed?
Tuffy?
Tuffy. And you said you had them calibrate your speedometer?
I had them, yeah, they check everything. So they check everything that's working.
Oh, so everything that's normal. So they check all your fluid
My
levels,
fluids, make sure
your lights
that all
work
my
and all that
lights
jazz?
work, make sure my speedometer is not, going.
Make sure everything's getting
Maybe
pressure.
it's not sending a code that is malfunctioning.
Okay, so they check to see if there's any code saying, like
Yes.
check engine lights and those types of things? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Is there anything you'd like to add to your testimony based upon her questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, then you can go ahead and retake your seat.
Yes, sir.
And with no further witnesses, I assume you rest your case?
Yes, sir.
Okay, any rebuttal testimony or evidence?
No, Your Honor, we stand on the evidence.
Okay. All right, so the testimony we heard from the trooper indicated that he's been trained on how to use an electronic speed measuring device, specifically the radar gun, that he has been trained on how to conduct confidence checks to make sure that it's functioning properly, and that he did so on the date in question, and that there were no issues with it, and it seemed to be working just fine. We have the testimony from the defendant, who indicates that she was cognizant of her speed because of encountering the sheriff's office before being pulled over by the trooper, that she was fairly certain that she was traveling at a much lower speed, even though it was in excess of the speed limit. She also did indicate that she'd been having some issues with her vehicle as far as the display and things of that nature. The testimony about the oil change and the checks and everything, I think Ms. Yeager kind of clarified that that wasn't so much like putting it through a simulation of how fast it was supposedly going and verifying that the odometer was correct, but just that there weren't any indications from the car itself alerting to the fact that there were problems with the speedometer. It's really a scientific principle. I mean, it sends out a pulse, it hits something, it comes back, it depends on how long it takes to get there and how long it has to come back, and it spits out a speed. They've been deemed sufficiently reliable by Ohio courts for years, decades even, and I do find that the state has met its burden here. So I'm going to enter a guilty finding. I'll tell you how you can appeal that after I announce your fine, but you have a right to speak before I decide what that fine should be as it relates to sentencing, not to guilt or innocence. I know you disagree with my decision there. Is there anything you want to say as far as the fine is concerned?
No, sir.
No? Ms. Yeager?
Nothing, Your Honor.
All right. What do you do for a living?
I'm a home health aide at this moment.
Okay. All right, so let's see here. So you've been convicted of going 18 over, and you don't have a prior moving violation within the last 12 months. So that's going to equate to a $34 fine. You will get time to pay, and you'll get all the details down at the clerk's office. Let me catch up to myself here. It'll be close to what the trooper told you it would have been if you had just mailed in your check, but there are some additional court costs associated with trial. Not that it's a punishment for exercising that right, it's just, for lack of a better phrase, the cost of doing business, I guess. You did show the trooper your proof of insurance when you were cited, so I'll mark off that that's been satisfied as well. So $34 in costs. You have the right to appeal my verdict finding you guilty. You also have the right to appeal the sentence that I've imposed here today. You have a right to file a notice of appeal within 30 days of today's date. You have a right to pay for a transcript of our trial, which is required to pursue the appeal. And you have a right to hire a lawyer but not get a free one to take you through the appellate process. So with that, do you have any questions either about the fine that I've imposed or your rights to appeal? Anything further, Ms. Shaker?
No, Your Honor.
All right, very well. That'll be all. The court will stand in recess. Good luck to you, Ms. Smith.
Judge Stansbury wasn't buying the broken speedometer story, and honestly, neither were we. The math simply didn't add up. Speeding on a public highway means you get caught, and trying to twist the truth in court instead of just admitting your mistake will still lead to a fine. It's really that simple. What do you think about her defense? Was the dying battery a genuine slip-up or just a last-ditch effort to dodge a ticket? Share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more real courtroom drama, real cases, and real justice.